let's talk about it. I mean, this is the biggest game that is on CBS on Saturday at noon. Number 2 Washington Spirit against number 7 Racing Louisville. The one that, Darian, you just said, hey, this might be some of these upset opportunities with Racing Louisville, because Washington are the overwhelming favorites in this game. However, anything can happen. And there are some question marks around Washington because they only have 1 win in their last 4 matches, and they've conceded 6 goals over that time. Plus, if you looked at their decision day availability report, my goodness, it was like an encyclopedia, a paragraph of names. How much of a concern, Darian, is this for Washington regarding the availability and their recent results?
I'm scratching my braids. This is a big concern for the Spirit because you look at the superstars they have and the chemistry that they were building throughout the season. They had moments of brilliance. I think Rebecca Bernal was a huge addition, but she's also been injured, also coming in and out. They've had to have players fill in that 6th position in the back line. And you see the weaknesses when she's not there, and then you move into the attack. The players that have been out, Lacey Santos has had her moments, Corey Bethune, Trinity Rodman's been out. I mean, they have so many players that we don't know if they're going to be available or how many minutes they can shoulder this weekend. And if you're Louisville, the team that everybody is doubting, everyone's like, woo, the Darlings, they made it into their first ever playoffs. I would be like, F that. Everyone's written us off. We're going to come play the best 90 minutes that we possibly can. And we're going to prove everyone wrong. We're going to bust all your brackets. That's what I would be thinking. So for the Spirit, they have to put away their chances. They have to put away their chances and be so concise in their set pieces, their set piece defending, their transitions into defense, because that's how Louisville, they don't play the most beautiful style of soccer, but that's how they could potentially hurt them. But I don't know if you feel the same, Jen, if you think Spirit maybe has it in the bag or not.
I'm not sure I'm still confident in them on paper with, the history of the club, these matchups against Louisville, it being Louisville's first ever playoff appearance, and, wondering how they'll manage that. I love the confidence, don't get me wrong. Of course, you have to turn up to a playoff game thinking you're going to win or you've already lost. I think the beauty of Spirit, or what I've seen, and not in just these last 2 games, right? Because, to have that kind of lack of momentum going into end of regular season with 2 losses back to back against Pride and then Utah on the road is a difficult place to be in. Of course, they have injuries, but I think I always respect that whoever comes onto the pitch, they still know the identity of Spirit. They still try and execute the game plan and still try keep the way that they want to play, and other players have stepped up. So I'm still confident that Spirit can go and do it. I know that they were never going to risk people in that last game against Utah, right? It was a no risk. So I think the injury list was probably over accentuated just to protect them. I'm sure we'll see many more names, probably not Rodman yet, but we'll still see more names for Spirit show up for a playoff game. But Louisville's momentum, man. Last 5 games, they've been picking up loads of points. That's the run you want coming into. So I get it from their perspective. Why not?
I do
Place to
think
go, though.
as well.
I will say, tough place to go.
Rowdy Outy.
Really
Rowdy Outy. I love playing there.
Yeah, Rowdy Outy for sure.
I will say, when we look at the success of the teams that have had a great run into championships that we've kind of written off, I mean, we can talk about Gotham with Ali Krieger retiring, the scariness of, is Marta stepping away? Is this her last run with Orlando? We don't know. Is she going to re-sign at the end of the year? They did it for Marta. They did it for Ali Krieger. Bev Yanez is the coach of Louisville. Bev Yanez, former player turned coach. You saw she was celebrating more than anybody else when they made it into playoffs. And if you're a player and you're so motivated by her story, her journey, you want to do it for her. I don't know, y'all. I don't think Spirit has the same sort of motivation behind them.
No, I don't think they do either. But I think they have a different understanding of what it takes to compete in the playoffs, and they are at home.
Like, they don't need that.
I don't think they need that, Darian, because even if Trinity Rodman isn't playing, she's still involved and she's still having those conversations with the players. And that's exactly who I would want hyping me up before I go play this game. And the difference between Louisville and Washington in this game, to me, is going to come down to these really, really small moments, fine margins. And if this goes into extra time and into penalties, it is just going to lean more and more in the favor of Washington Spirit. If you look back to some of their regular season meetings, the most recent one, I think, was in August, and it was a 2-2 draw, but it was in the stoppage time at the end of the game that Washington scored. And that's where Washington has been clutch this year in final.
And Louisville's been horrible in the final minutes.
Horrible.
Yeah.
They've dropped 15 points from winning positions this season. Now, that to me is like all on the mental side of it. How can they manage the game going into the very end of it? But I'd put the edge to Washington in those moments.
I don't know, y'all. Remember, Gotham nearly shot themselves in the foot going into playoffs. They waited until the final minutes of their own game and dropped, 4 positions before then finally making it, and then went on to win the whole thing. So crazier things have happened. I'm rocking with Big Perp. I don't know. I'm feeling some type of way about this weekend.
I love it. Rocking with Big Perp. Jen, what are you thinking?
So wait, are you already going against your bracket on the first preview
Yeah,
of the
I am.
quarterfinals?
I'm like, I wish I would have been more brave. I went very pragmatic.
Yeah.
And yeah, I should have added some flavor in. But I have faith. I have faith.
I respect it. I think you saw how similar ours were and thought, I gotta change something.
Mhm.
I'm still going with Spirit, guys. I'm gonna stay with it. I think they went protective mode on the road to Utah, and I think other players are going to show up, and they have more experience in these kind of positions. And I think I agree with what you said, Lisa, with kind of those final moments of a game and how playoff situations, cup moments, that kind of winner takes all for every single round. When Spirit start throwing numbers ahead, I would back them in those in those moments if it gets to that point.
I think this game could go into extra time. Absolutely. I think we could go into
Ugh.
OT. I know. I do though. I you both are like,
Jen,
bleh.
get out of my brain.
So Darian, if Racing Louisville takes down Washington Spirit, how does that rank on like the playoff upsets in NWSL history?
Oof. I'm trying to even run back big upsets. I mean, it might be number 1 just because this is Louisville's first time ever in the playoffs. Plagued with 9th place, finally making it in, exceeding expectations. It would be huge, especially for a Spirit squad that you look, like Jen said, at the names of the team that they have. And looking at Louisville, which is kind of like what I would say is more of a blue collar team. Like they really work together. When they're on, they're all on. James Milner said, D, my heart is with you, my head not so much. I mean, I agree. I'm going with my heart. I'm going with Bev.
I love it.
It would be a massive upset.
If Bev could do this, I think it would be history, right? But that's the thing about Racing Louisville. They already kind of crossed that under or like over expected line because they made it into the playoffs. Everyone's kind of like,
they're already the darlings.
We did it. Like it's almost like they've reached the precipice and they've done all that they can do in terms of the eyes of everyone else, the fans, the media. It's like they've already done it. They made it here. And if you're on Racing Louisville, that's probably going to piss you off and that's going to fuel you.
Like that's all we're good for is like what a playoff 1 game in. Exactly. Shut up, y'all.
Yeah, so terrifying. I'd be a little scared if I'm Washington, but I'm still going to stick with the Spirit. This isn't busting my bracket, but I really hope it does because that would be fun. So this is the big one that we have on Saturday on Big CBS at noon, Spirit versus Racing Louisville.